Hello everyone, welcome back. Today we are going to see the remaining tabs in Power BI desktop. So yesterday we have seen home tab and we have discussed what options available there. And now let's start with insert, modeling and view. So we have the same Excel file that we have imported yesterday. So insert, as I told yesterday, there are few options which can be seen in many other tabs. Like for example, here we have new visual and more visuals. Is the same as home. So here also we have new visual and more visuals. As I told, for accessibility, Power BI will place the same options in multiple tabs as well. Even we can also see the same kind of placement in Power Creator as well. Even there also we can see the same options repeated in multiple tabs. So we already know new visual means if add some new visual in the reporting pane, in this white space. So instead of going here, we can just click on this one and we can keep adding this. And more visuals, we know we can get these visuals from custom visuals from Microsoft Store from their app source. So either you can access these from insert tab or from home tab. New page means add a new page to the report. So actually we have page 1, page 2, page 3. We can duplicate the pages, can keep add the pages. We have many things. So instead of going to new page and add a new page, we can directly go here and click on plus icon. It will be keep adding new pages. Similarly, we can duplicate the pages and we can also remove the pages. Delete the pages, rename the pages. Rename means it's pretty straightforward. We can rename the page as per the business needs. For example, in general, in the real time, we don't show these page numbers as page 1, page 2, page 3. As per the report, whatever you're doing for the business, according to that, you will rename this as per your requirements. Like whatever you're representing to the business, that is the naming convention we follow, standard conventions we follow during the report development. And duplicate page means again, duplicate page can also be do from here, new page, duplicate page, and blank page means new page. Duplicate page means the existing page can be duplicated. And we can also right click on this and click on duplicate page. So instead of we going here, we can also do from here. So the thing is, here what happens is, why duplicate page is required and why it's important is, let's say with example, let's say you're working for a business where they have business in 3 or 4 different countries, and let's say they want to analyze their performance, like their sales or their profits, or like how they're performing over the years, last year, this year, current year, or current quarter, last quarter, everything. What are the KPIs, metrics we are going to define for the business? Everything they want to see in the first page. That is, we generally what we do is we do summary page and detailed pages in general for any reporting. So let's say, for example, in the summary page, we have multiple visuals and KPIs we created for the business, which is includes all the countries. Let's say they have 3 countries business they're operating, all the 3 countries specific to all the countries. The first page will contain everything. Then from the second page onwards, let's say we want to see specific to India, specific to China, specific to US or Japan. We can just click on new pages and add the same thing. For example, in few cases, what happens is we might show the same thing whatever we display in the first page, but the second page everything is same specific to a country. In that case, instead of recreating those visuals from the very scratch, for example, let's say you would have spent 2 or 3 days to do all the visuals in the first page. Instead of doing the same thing again and again in the second page for the same different country, we can just, once everything is done, have all the visuals done with your representations and everything, we can right click on this one, click on a duplicate page. This will take everything on the first page to second page, or whichever the page you are in. For example, let's say, let me add a few visuals for now, just to demonstrate this. So you have 2 visuals, and if you drag and drop something, we can able to see data here. Let's say, for example, this is the visual I've created. Now I want to see the same thing for one specific country or one specific category, whatever the filter. We are talking about a filter. So if you click on this one and go to duplicate page, it will directly take the same thing as a duplicate of page 1. So whatever we have on page 1, everything will be seen on page 2. Duplicate of page 1. Again, we can rename here to whatever the name we want. So this will be very helpful in those kind of requirements, showing same in the report, but we can just replicate the pages and we can filter those things as per the business requirements. So how do we filter them? So we have here filters on this page, filter on all pages. Anyway, we'll come to this maybe in next sessions. So we can pass filter here. We can explicitly pass filter here, like the category or country or year, whatever it is, and this will specify only those filtered visuals. So in that case, it will be very useful option, this duplicate page. Similarly, text box, we have seen the same in home section. We have text box here and same in insert as well. So it is mainly to use for the headers, like for report headers, if you want to show something on top of the pages, or if you want to represent something with a name. But usually for all the visuals, there are something called titles. So every visual have title. Anyway, we'll discuss this in our formatting section once we go forward. We have something called title. So every visual have title, and we can write something there to display on the visual. But on a whole, if you want to display for the report level as a header, we can use text boxes. And we have buttons. So these buttons will be used in the bookmarks especially. We have a concept called bookmarks in Power BI, which is very important and very widely used options in Power BI for any report developer. So in that sessions, I will tell what are bookmarks and all, but these arrows or right or left arrow, we can just define on the reports. And there are many buttons, right, left arrow, and we have something called blank button, this help, information, reset button. These are all for representation purpose. And every visual, every button have action. So this will define what this should do, whether this should go back or this should do some other action. Everything we can define in the action section. So this we can discuss in detail. So for now, understand buttons will be used in the reports often for our requirements. Similarly, we have shapes. We have these shapes. If you want to use, we can use. But more frequently, we use rectangular and line. Triangle, arrow, oval. I didn't get a chance to use much these options. So usually we use rectangle or line more often. But we'll see why rectangle can be used and what is the purpose of that in our next sessions. Similarly, images. We can also display images in the reporting. This is mainly for like a logo of a report. For example, if you're working for your business, and for all the reports, whatever you develop for your business, we should have some logo at the top, maybe left hand side top or right hand side top, wherever the placement depends on the alignment. We can have image. Let's say, let me pull some images. So let's say this is one image, for example. An image has its own properties like scaling. We'll discuss this in detail, but for now, just understand okay how we can place the images. We can upload images in Power BI, and we can place here. Maybe this is just a company logo or like your project specific logo, whatever it could be, that represents the report. What this report for and what is this logo? Everything we can define here as a logo. And Power Apps is again, this is one of the Microsoft's own product, Power Apps. So if someone wants to integrate Power Apps with Power BI, they can use this. We have, this is a custom application. We have Power Apps. This is a business applications. So again, it is for them who is working on Power Apps actively, and they would like to integrate the Power Apps and Power BI together. This is for them. And it's not mandatory to know Power Apps or Power BI. It is same. It is optional as R and Python. It is only for specific to those people who especially working on those stuff. Similarly, Q&A, as we are discussing yesterday, there is an option called Q&A in options and settings. Why this can be used is, this is very useful for the business once we deploy our reports to Power BI service. Let's see something like how this works. So if you click on Q&A, it will be something, it will display like this. It will be asking us to ask a question about your data. So ask a question about your data is completely depending on what data we have in our sheet, in our Power BI. So if you keep on importing multiple tables or multiple Excel sheets, everything, these questions also will be based on those data. Currently, we have only one Excel sheet here, and whatever the questions we are going to ask, that should be based on only on this. So what will happen is, if we ask any question to the Microsoft Power BI, this will return with on top of visual, with a visual. For example, let's say I want to see top 10 sales. It will also give some suggestions. So top 10, by the moment if I click on top 10, It will give suggestions as well, like what you want to see. Let's say I want to see top 10 sales, again top 10 sales by country, let's say for example. So we have country field here. So every question should be based on the fields. So if you click on this one, this will create a visual for you based on your question. See, I have these countries in my data. These are the, based on the country, we are getting sales here. And if you want to use this for your representation as a report, I mean, in your report, if you want to use this visual, we can click on this one. This turn this Q&A result into standard visual. If you click on this, this will be as a visual. So in general, if someone wants to develop this visual, what we have to do is first we have to click on the visual here. First we have to take here. Then we have to take the country to access, and similarly the sales we have take the sales here to the values. This is the general procedure to bring this visual. But because of Q&A, it will be very easy in these kind of representations to go here and ask a question, and that will give answer with a visual. It is not just restricted to only top 10 or top 20. We can ask many things here. Like for example, it will give some suggestions as you see here. Total discount, total countries count. It will give everything. It will be like machine learning in the backend of Power BI. So it will give some suggestions using this. This will be very helpful for the business. So if you can enable, we can also enable this in the report. Once you publish the report to Power BI service, their business also can make use of this, and they can ask their questions and get some insights out of your data. That also possible. That we will see in Power BI service. And this is also one of the visuals. Actually, this is the same visual. We have key influencer visual. This is also one of the new visual, one of the new AI visual. It is artificial intelligence visual from Microsoft, the first AI visual. It was not there in the earlier Power BI versions. This is something introduced in the last year. So this will give some influencers based on your data. We'll see this with an action once we discuss about the visuals and all. Again, as I was explaining from the beginning, not all the visuals will be useful for your reporting. Not everyone will work on all the visuals. Like how the options we'll be discussing, not everyone will work on all the options in the real time. Based on the requirement only, they use all these options. Similarly, based on the requirement how to represent data, they will choose the specific visuals in the reporting. Not all the visuals will be used. Let's say there are 100 visuals in Power BI. Maybe here we have 20, 25, and if you go to custom visuals, we have again 50 to 60 visuals are there. So it's not mandatory to know all the visuals. First thing, it's not required to use all the visuals. It depends completely on what is your actual business requirement and what is exposure to your data. Everything depends on how many visuals you know. So just keep this in mind. And this is about insert tab, and we have modeling tab. So modeling is completely talking about the third tab here. This is the data modeling tab, and we can do whatever here. The same thing can be done here. So this relationship is still it's not grayed. I mean, it's still grayed out because we don't have any tables except only one table. So this will be enabled only if I have multiple tables. Then only we can able to establish relation between multiple tables, and we can manage them, like a delete relationship or add relationship or change relationship. Everything we can do there. So maybe in the next sessions we'll try to import multiple tables, and we'll see what is this and why we can use this. And measure, quick measure, new column, new table. These everything, all these four depends on DAX. So in the home tab we have just two options: new measure, quick measure. But if you go to modeling tab, we have four options: new measure, quick measure, new column, new table. Everything will be work with the DAX. So new measure, to create a new calculation using DAX, we can use this. Quick measure, instead of we writing a formula, Power BI will ask some suggestions like what you want to do, like average per category. Like there are some same, like how Q&A have some suggestions. Similarly, in the quick measures, we have some predefined calculations that we can do without writing expression in DAX. That also we'll see in action. And similarly, new column, like this is called calculated column. So this is what I was explaining yesterday, which is derived column from the existing data. Let's say I have 10 different columns here, and I want to derive something out of this 10 to a 11th column. Let's say, for example, I have a date column. I want to extract year out of it. I want to extract month out of it, or I want to extract the length of a column, or whatever. These expressions, whatever we write, is similar to SQL expressions. If I have database knowledge, or if I have some Excel knowledge, at least this will be easy for you to understand. Even though it is not difficult, you can easily understand how the expression works and what could be the result of the expression, everything. and new table. Like how there are two different ways to create a table in Power BI. One is in the home tab. If you click on enter data, this will ask us to enter something explicitly. So whatever we enter, it will display the same in Power BI. This is to enter some static data, or you just copy something and paste there. But this is something which is we can do only with the DAX expression, because we can create a table with the help of DAX. There are many table functions like a filter, distinct, values. There are many table functions in DAX. Using those functions, we create a table. We have calculate table. There are many. We have summarize. There are many functions we can use in DAX to create a table. So we also see why we create tables and what is like when we all create tables in DAX and what is the use case for that. Everything we'll see in the further sessions. Similarly, we have parameters in Power BI. This is, again, we have two different parameters. One is query parameters in Power BI, and other one is what if parameters. What if parameters is something like analysis. Like for example, today my sales are just $100. What if my sales would have increased to 200? Or like what if means is like what if, what will happen. It is called as what if analysis. We can do with some example and explain some example how what if will work. And similarly, we have one more thing called query parameters that we can use in the Power Query Editor. And also we can also parameters connections. Like we can also create connections as a parameters, and we can use in the reporting. So everything specific to parameters and what if parameters. Anyway, we are going to see in the future classes. But just to make you aware of what these options, I'm just explaining orally what in all this. And manage roles, view as role is very important. We use this in our reporting. This is called as row level security. So in Power BI, we have a concept called row level security. It means, let's say for example, I have a report and with the different countries or different users as well. Let's say you're working with a sales domain. Let's say your company is working in multiple countries, and you want to share the report to few people from different countries. Let's say for example, I have a report and I want to share the same report to three different people sitting in three different countries. So each person wants to see only their country data, not other countries data. So for that, there are two different ways. One thing is we can create the same report into three different copies with three different countries. Let's say I have India specific report, US specific report, and China specific report. Or instead of creating three different copies of a report, just have only one report. And when we share this report to all the three people, we can restrict the data. We can restrict the data in the row level. That is called row level security, where the first person can see only India data, second person can see only China data, and third person can see only US data. That we can do. That level we can do. It's not just about country. I'm just giving an example. We can also restrict with a person. Let's say, for example, you work in a customer service domain. Many people, many customer service executives are working on day-to-day basis, and your company is giving uh, exposing the data for you specifically to see how you are performing in your workplace. In that case, let's say I have different performance metrics for different customer executives. Now, if I share the same report with multiple executives in the same company, if a person opens this report, he should see only his metrics or his KPIs is specific to his performance. So even in that level also we can do. That is specific to all row level security, where we can discuss this in detail in our future classes. And this view is also specific to row level security. This work together. This is and this will work together. And we have Q&A setup. By default, we have Q&A in the insert tab, and we have Q&A setup. It means we can able to give some questions. We can also add some questions to this one if you want to see some see some insights. So click on you can see here, teach Q&A to understand people better, review questions people have asked, and manage terms you've added. So how this will help is I'll review questions. So okay, let me sign in here. So usually what happens is once the report is published to Power BI service, by default Power BI will give some suggestions like top 10 countries or by category, by year, something. There may be few questions which Power BI couldn't track by default. And what happens if you expose this Q&A to the end user, to the business user, they may start using this and they'll ask some questions. So maybe that questions Power BI would have not given by default. So in that case, we can find this keep asking. We can also give some suggestions in this specific review questions tab, and so that this will keep fixing, and it will just keep learning based on the questions the users ask. And next time if user try to ask some question, this will use suggestions perfectly. It is just learning, making this learn what type of question the business is asking, everything. So let me see if I can show some example. So review, it is only for review. If you want to review the questions, then only we can use this, because this is based on Power BI service related questions. Or by default, if you want to add something. So again, this is the data sets which I published sometime back in a few months back. So this was the last month I've taken training. I think in the 4 months back. After that, I haven't taken any trainings. That's why I can see 4 months back. So let's say, for example, teach Q&A. So it will be showing ask question about your data. Let's say, for example, profit by category. If I click on this and submit, you see category is not specific. Is not specific term, because if you see here in my data, there is no something called category, because there is the wrong word. It is just displaying as it is something which it couldn't find. So category means in general we have something called segment. Segment, category, it will be both are same in some ways. So we don't know like what exactly the names of the columns. So business will just type okay, profit by category, for example. Now because Power BI doesn't know what is category, we can just click on, you see whenever I click on this, it will be asking define category in next section. For example, let's say if you click on submit, it will ask okay, category refers to, I just write segment. It means the moment whenever you type category from next time, it will be treating as segment. So now you see here showing segment and total profit. This is what I was telling. We are just teaching this in the back end. In the back end, what happens is whenever you ask questions repeatedly, that will be saved, and in future if someone asks the same kind of question and same kind of pattern, it will detect automatically and it will show the suggestions, and we can just save this, and that's all. This is how we can teach the Q&A, what kind of questions we can ask, and everything. And this is okay, the terms like what have managed terms means like what we have taught. Term is term, the category, and what is the definition of that. So like this, everything we can do here. Similarly, there is something called synonyms in Power BI. So that is same thing specific to Q&A. That was there in maybe in the older versions of Power BI. We have something called synonyms. Synonyms are specifically for synonyms, which is again it is a new interface of Power BI. This again, the modeling tab also was newly introduced in the last year. Previously it was different. As I was explaining, every month Power BI keeps updating, and as part of updates, every interface keeps changing. So we have called synonyms. So here also we can define, instead of teaching to Q&A directly there, like category means segment or something like that, what we can do is we can also, for example, let's say country. What can be defined as country? Let's say, for example, I can also define country as region. I can give like this. So whenever someone type a question like that, okay, show me the sales of each region, for example. So region is not something part of this data, but because we are adding region as one of the synonym for country, this will pick up automatically. So like that, we can train the model, train the data what we have for the Q&A. So the synonyms are specific to Q&A. Same, the Q&A setup and synonyms work together. I think hope you got some idea what is a Q&A and how this works and what are synonyms. And this is language, like what language you want to use, and linguistic schema is something, it is again system option. We don't go and do some changes here. There is about modeling tab. Okay, I'm pausing for now here. So let's continue with view tab and other tabs in the next session. Thank you so much. Please do subscribe, and please practice the content. And if you have any questions, please post in the comments. Bye everyone.